Two households, a sweltering summer day. The sun is beating down on the streets of Verona and the air is thick with dust and ancient hatred. Before anyone has fallen in love, before any poetry is spoken in the moonlight, a street brawl erupts. It's messy, it's brutal, and it starts over absolutely nothing. A rude gesture, a bitten thumb. But in this city, a bitten thumb is enough to start a riot. Welcome. I'm your Director of Studies, and today we are diving into what is arguably the most famous play in the English language, William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. If you think you know this story, you might want to think again. Pop culture has sold us a version of Romeo and Juliet that is all about sweeping romance, balconies and tragic sighs. We use their names as shorthand for ultimate love. But when you actually open the text, you don't find a gentle romance. You find a play about tribal violence, the intense, blinding rush of teenage rebellion, and a society of adults who entirely fail their children.
Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean.
Today, we are going to lay the groundwork for your GCSE and A-level studies. We're going to map out the core themes, strip away the clichés, and capture the blood, the heat, and the heartbreak of Shakespeare's masterpiece. Let's get started.
To understand Romeo and Juliet, you must first understand the world they inhabit. Verona is a pressure cooker. The Capulets and the Montagues are locked in a feud so old that nobody on stage even remembers why it started. The reason doesn't matter. The violence has just become a way of life. It's an inheritance, passed down from father to son like a cursed heirloom.
What? Drawn and talk of peace? I hate the word, as I hate hell, all Montagues, and thee.
That is Tybalt, Juliet's cousin. He is the embodiment of this toxic, performative masculinity. In Verona, your reputation, your honour, and your physical dominance are everything. The young men of this city roam the streets looking for a reason to fight. Shakespeare uses the setting brilliantly to amplify this tension. He sets the play in the height of summer. Think about the last time you were stuck in a sweltering heatwave. Tempers fray. People snap. Benvolio, Romeo's peacemaking cousin, literally begs the others to go inside because the heat is making everyone aggressive.
For now, these hot days, is the mad blood stirring.
The mad blood stirring. Write that quote down. It's a brilliant one for your exams. The weather itself is a catalyst for tragedy. But it's not just the street violence that traps our protagonists. The private world of the Capulet household is just as oppressive. Juliet is 13 years old. In Shakespeare's time, this wasn't unusual for an arranged marriage among the nobility, but Shakespeare goes out of his way to emphasise her youth. Her father, Lord Capulet, treats her as property. He is arranging her marriage to Count Paris to secure political and social advantage. So, when we meet Romeo and Juliet, they are both suffocating. Romeo is trapped in the macho expectations of his family, moping around pretending to be in love with a girl named Rosaline just to feel something. Juliet is trapped in the patriarchal control of her father, staring down the barrel of a loveless marriage to a stranger. And then, they see each other.
Act 1, Scene 5. The Capulet Ball. Romeo has gate-crashed in a mask. He's standing in the middle of his enemy's house. If he's caught, he's dead. He looks across the room, and he sees Juliet. Now, we need to talk about love, but not the boring greeting card kind of love. We need to talk about love as an act of
total rebellion.
Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night, like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear.
From the moment they speak, their language aligns perfectly. Their first conversation is a shared sonnet. A sonnet is a 14-line poem, usually written by one lover. But Romeo and Juliet share it. They finish each other's sentences. They match each other's rhymes. Shakespeare is using the very structure of the verse to tell us these two are meant to be together. But the tragedy of this play is right there in the prologue.
A pair of star-crossed lovers take their life.
Star-crossed. This is one of the most vital themes in the play. Fate versus free will. For an Elizabethan audience, the stars weren't just pretty lights in the sky. Astrology was a serious business. It was widely believed that the alignment of the stars at your birth dictated your destiny. To be star-crossed literally means that the universe itself has written a tragic ending for you. The heavens are against you. But is that entirely true? This is a brilliant debate to bring into your essays. Are Romeo and Juliet really victims of cosmic fate? Or are they victims of terrible, impulsive choices? Think about it. Romeo chooses to gatecrash the party. Friar Lawrence chooses to marry them in secret. Romeo chooses to kill Tybalt in a fit of rage. Juliet chooses to take a terrifying sleeping potion rather than flee or tell her parents the truth. Shakespeare creates a brilliant tension here. He constantly gives his characters moments where they could step back from the edge, but they don't. The momentum of their passion, combined with the chaotic violence of their society, pushes them forward. It's like watching a train crash in slow motion. You know exactly what's going to happen, but you are powerless to stop it.
Time. It is the invisible enemy in Romeo and Juliet. If you step back and look at the timeline of the play, it is terrifyingly compressed. The entire story, the meeting, the marriage, the murders, the exile, and the double suicide, all happens in less than 5 days. They meet on a Sunday night. By Thursday morning, they are dead. Everything is a rush, a blur of adrenaline and hormones. The turning point of the play, the exact moment comedy dies and tragedy takes over, happens in Act 3, Scene 1. Mercutio, Romeo's best friend, is killed by Tybalt. And as Mercutio bleeds to death on the hot stones of Verona, he realises that this stupid, pointless family feud has cost him his life. He screams a curse that echoes through the rest of the play.
A plague are both your houses! They have made worms meat of me!
With that curse, the genre shifts. Romeo murders Tybalt in revenge. The prince banishes Romeo from Verona. And suddenly, the ticking clock is deafening. Juliet's father brings forward her forced marriage to Paris. Suddenly, she has 48 hours, then 24 hours. Juliet is utterly isolated. And this brings us to our final major theme, the catastrophic failure of the adult world.
Romeo and Juliet are surrounded by adults who are supposed to protect them, but every single one of them fails. First, the parents. The Montagues and Capulets are so blinded by their hatred that they don't even know who their children are. Lord Capulet goes from playing the benevolent host to a violent tyrant the moment Juliet defies him.
Hang the young baggage, disobedient wretch! I tell thee what, get thee to church a Thursday, or never after look me in the face.
Then there is the nurse. She is Juliet's surrogate mother, the woman who raised her. But when Juliet is pushed to the brink, terrified of bigamy and exile, the nurse tells her to just forget Romeo and marry Paris. It's a pragmatic,
cowardly betrayal. And finally, Friar Lawrence. He represents religion, wisdom, and the church. He marries the teenagers in secret, hoping to end the family feud. He uses them as political pawns. And when his convoluted plan with the sleeping potion falls apart in the tomb, he panics. Hearing the watchman coming, the friar abandons a suicidal, traumatized 13-year-old girl in a crypt full of dead bodies, just to save his own skin. In the end, Romeo and Juliet don't just die because they are in love. They die because the world of adults left them no other way out. Their suicide is the ultimate tragic rebellion against a society that refused to let them live.
So, when you walk into your exam, leave the cheesy romance at the door. Talk about Verona as a crucible of violence. Talk about the suffocating patriarchy. Explore the tension between fate and free will, the blistering speed of time, and the tragic isolation of youth. Shakespeare didn't just write a love story. He wrote a warning about what happens when hatred goes unchecked and when society values pride over the lives of its children. Keep that central conflict in mind, and you will unlock the highest bands of the mark scheme. This video was brought to you by Director of Studies, and if you enjoyed this content, we have other premium in-depth content where we cover themes, characters, and GCSE exam board specifics on our website, directorofstudies.com. Keep reading, keep questioning the text, and I will see you in the next lesson.